Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk about another IP camera. I want to talk about this. This is the PoE camera from Annke. It's part of their new little mini range of smart assisted or CMOS assisters at least cameras here for PoE deployment, and they are supported by network attached storage. Now, as much as I would love to call this video review, it just isn't. This is actually a two-parter. This first video we're going to look at the physicalities of this device and talk about a lot of the hardware inside. It's sort of a hardware review, sorta, but afterwards we are going to be doing performance testing and software overviews of it, of its own software, the Annke camera software, and utilising it alongside some network attached storage devices. But this is the i51DK. It's a horrible name, I've got to say. That whole series is also known as the C500, which is a lot more of a palatable name to get behind. But the C500 range is actually made up of different cameras, from bullet cameras to overhead cameras, and of course dome cameras like this one. Now it knocks around price-wise all over the place in different prices. So rather than tell you a price, I'm sure at the time of writing, at the top there will be the correct price. You can probably knock it out at their own website, almost certainly Amazon and a few other websites as well. It's a 5 megapixel PoE camera that can go up to 1080p. It's worth mentioning as well, 2560 by 920, and at full utilization of all of the features, it will dip to 15 frames per second. But if you enable a handful of the features, you can still get up to that 30, maybe 25 frames per second on a lot of the features there. It's designed for affordability, but at the same time, mass deployment. So again, if you're looking for a large surface area and you need dome cameras or a mix of cameras with all the same software, that C500 range has got quite a lot going for you. If we have a look inside before we go any further, firstly, you've got that little wall mount that you stick up when you want to stick it to the wall. So you stick it there and put the screws in place. We have a first time installation manual, and if we have a look inside there, there's lots of information about camera deployment, and it actually goes into quite a lot of detail about camera or like taking it apart and adjusting some of the stuff manually if you choose. It's surprisingly detailed about how much they will tell you about the hardware inside there. It takes advantage of OmniVision. I should mention that it's a little controller chip inside. It's a sensor, and one of the things we're noticing about IP cameras in and outside of NAS, of course, is the processors being used inside. So I've got a lot of the default control specs, particularly PoE cameras I might add, that are designed to run far more efficiently because of the power draw they've got access to. You're seeing these processors become incredibly competent. We're seeing a lot of smart default cameras coming out there with that CMOS controller inside, really producing a lot of great frame technology, or being able to build frames in between so you can get a lot more footage for your concentration. We have got the protector there that you put on the outside of the PoE connector. We have an Allen key there for accessing the inside, and it's worth mentioning this is surprisingly tamper-proof. A lot of the detail they show online is this being hit by hammers to show how rugged it is, and also to try and get inside, it is quite a dedicated access point there. Hexagonal Allen key there. We have the raw plugs and the screws, of course, for wall mounting, and we have got the camera itself. Unsurprisingly, as there's nothing more in there, as it's a PoE camera, it already has the connector already built into the base there. And again, we have looked at Annke cameras here on the channel before. If we remove that, we can have a look inside and see a quite incredible mix of LEDs there inside. Let's get the thumbnail sorted. There we are. And these LEDs that are inside, there are 30 individual LEDs there, and they can be utilised for 100-foot or 30-metre night vision. And again, it supports everything from H.264 to H.265 compression technique on the recordings, but obviously again, as you go through the different settings, that will affect your frames per second, and if that's less of a problem with one camera, but once you've got lots of cameras, it can prove problematic overall. It is, as mentioned, OmniVision supported. That's that default protocol, because, you know, Annke, with all the will in the world, their software I'm not hugely behind, and you'll see that in the software overview. We've looked at it before. Their software is competent, and if you get one of their dedicated NVRs, the software can be a lot more capable of kind of mass utilization, but the software with regards to individual camera setups is a little lacking. particularly in the mobile platform as well. But if you use these cameras in conjunction with another NVR system like a Synology or a QNAP with QVR Pro or surveillance station, this is a very, very good camera if it's anything like a number of the Anchors that I've got slightly off camera there. Again, the whole thing is a sealed unit all the way around. It's IP67 weatherproof, so again, you're talking frost, you're talking general moisture, you're talking dust prevention. Obviously, if you dump it in a bucket of water, I'm not 100% certain it would survive. It's not designed for drowning. It's designed for, you know, weather hitting it, hence the term weatherproof. It is designed for indoor and outdoor utilization. Something you would be surprised how little you see in dome cameras whenever I look around. Whenever I see dome cameras, generally they're always considered indoor, and you have to spend a pretty penny to get an outdoor dome camera that's both PoE as well because of that aperture and the access point there. There is our CAT connection there, and again that's a standard CAT 100 megabytes per second connection there. Not that you're going to use that level even on the highest settings. We have got that reset and PoE injector there, and that is pretty much where you can interject another power source rather than the CAT there that's mentioned there on the front. Now, recording quality, as mentioned, it does have up to 8 megabits per second bit rate, but that can go crazy low as well to really lengthen out your recordings. The resolution can be heightened. You can do multiple streams with the right supported software, and again, QNAP and Synology have got that inbuilt. The night vision is automatic and will click in as light adjusts in the area it's being deployed, so you don't have to manually do it or set a timer. If you have this outside, as it gets lighter, the LEDs will sense that the light has increased and they deactivate the level of night vision required, and that's where that sensor comes in as well to get a lot of the job done for you. It doesn't have obviously full pan tilt zoom because this is a dome camera that's going to be designed to be supported above, but it does have circular, it does have zoom built into it as well, but not optical zoom unfortunately. But it does have, as I say, rotation control and a certain degree of rotation on one of those axes around it. Again, it's a dome camera, so it is largely with business in mind. Dome cameras aren't really in the home spec. I think a lot of the time, a lot of you might have a porch that you put a camera outside, but be realistic. Where are you going to see a camera like this more importantly? You're going to see it in a supermarket, you're going to see it, you know, in a foyer. That's who it's designed for. It is incredibly rugged. That's one thing I can't really show you on the camera. If I like hit it, you'll hear it. It is full metal all the way out. It is incredibly robust looking. I mean, again, what we could do is have a little look inside. If we want to have a little look about what the inside of this camera is, we can take advantage of that tool they've supplied and have a little look about what exactly this camera gives us for our money. Because chances are, if you do want to do maintenance, you do want to do cleaning, you want to know just how easy it is to get inside this camera, and more importantly, what it's like inside. Because all that rugged outside is one thing, but if all it is inside is a single wire that's held together with sellotape, you want to know. So let's have a little look inside. Let's have a look. Get that out of there. Have a look, maybe get a closer look at those LEDs as well. And again, we'll have a look about what our plans are for this, but maybe we'll do some destruction tests on this, like we sometimes do with a lot of our products when we want to know about if they can take a hit. Right, so we've removed the top of the cover there. We can have a little look inside. And as we can see, we have got the silica gel, something we always have on these cameras on the inside. You can just make it out there at the back. Let's turn that around. And again, that is a moisture preventative. We do see that a lot on these cameras. We've seen that on a few of the top end ones as well. So don't think that's just a budget thing. And again, we can see that rotation there on that single axis, back and forth inside. But it's a very clean assembly. So I'll bring it back around again. Bring that nice and close to camera so you can see that there. And again, it's fairly clear. I would have liked to have seen maybe a cover internally, but I think that might have interrupted the rotation of that top assembly point there. So it's understandable they might be hesitant to do that. Now, the LED structure there, as we can see, is very, very clear, all of those. And if we have a look underneath, you can just about make it out. That silver panel, the actual body of the camera is completely closed off, which is nice. Hopefully that does prevent any kind of dust penetration. It's going to be very hard to see how dust could possibly get into this structure. And of course, the only holes that are there are the ones I've just alleviated by removing the screws. But this has been the i51DK camera. We're going to get this all connected up now and have a good look at it in the terms of the software and overview. I'm not going to make any judgments on it yet, because obviously we've just taken it apart and not seen what it can do. But if it can deliver the same as the last couple of Annke cameras we've had here on the channel, I'll be satisfied with that, because at the moment I have a couple of these and a couple of Rio links set out around this office for a lot of these recordings, and they've never let me down yet, touch wood. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like. If you want to learn more, click subscribe, and stay tuned for the software overview. And I will see you next time.